Good morning, everyone. So we're going to get started with today's video. I'm going to be covering the next section of Julius Caesar. Yesterday we left off when a bunch of dudes showed up at Brutus's house and they were all like, "Hey, Brutus, we definitely need to kill Caesar." And he's like, I don't know. And they're like, "Okay, well, we really need to kill Caesar." And Brutus is all like, "Okay." And then they're like, "We should kill Antony." And he's like, "I don't know, man. That seems really bad." And they're like, "Okay, fine, fine. We won't kill Antony." All right. Um, and so that's kind of where we left off. Back at it again, this time with coffee. Um, I've got both pets in the room, but you won't be able to see Mort. But I've got Maggie over here, and then Mort's like over by the window, which is like off to my left here. We should be able to finish Act 2, Scene 1 today. I don't see why we wouldn't. We covered the first 5 questions yesterday, so feel free if if you're not caught up, feel free to go back and check out that video. It's only 20 minutes, and if you work through it while I read, you'll actually get all the answers that you need in order to complete the questions, and it'll be very little work on your end. All I'm asking for is 20 minutes of your time. All right. And then today we're going to be covering questions 6 through 10. We're going to meet Brutus's wife, Portia. She's intense. She has my favorite death of every Shakespeare play I've ever read. And then we will be done. All right. So I am going to start a timer like I did yesterday. I find that keeping these to about 20 minutes, although a little longer than your average YouTube video, does make at least the content manageable. Whereas like maybe if I tried to do it all in like a 45-minute video, I don't think I could get any of you to sit still that long. So just bear with me. I appreciate some of the comments on the video, on my last video yesterday, and I look forward to chatting tomorrow. If you think of it and finish up this video and want to text me a time you think would be good for us to do that live stream to make a character chart, let me know. I'm thinking maybe around noon. I can do earlier or later. This is currently my job, is this room. So just kind of let me know what you guys want to do, okay? All right, so let's get back into it. I'm going to be down over here with Brutus. The clock strikes. Brutus, please count the clock. So he's like, "What time is it?" And Cassius is all like, the clock has stricken 3, so it's 3 in the morning. And Cassius and Trebonius is like, "We should get going. It's time to part." And so Cassius says, "But it is doubtful yet whether Caesar will come forth today or no, for he is superstitious grown of late, quite from the main opinion he held once of fantasy, of dreams and of ceremonies. It may be these apparent prodigies, the accustomed terror of this night, and the persuasion of his augurs may hold him from the capital today." All right, so Cassius is worried that Caesar's not going to make it in today. He thinks that because of some of the superstitions he held, that it might keep him from showing up and being murdered. And that would be a big problem for Cassius, as, we all know. All right. And so Decius is like, "Never fear that. If he be so resolved, I can o'ersway him, for he loves to hear that unicorns may be betrayed with trees, and bears with glasses, elephants and holes, lions and toils, and men with flatterers." Okay, I don't know. I can tell you up front, I don't really know what this part means, but I can tell you that Decius is going to make sure Caesar shows up today. Caesar needs to get murdered today. It's the Ides of March. All right. Thank you, by the way, for so many of you participating in sending me a photo yesterday. If you think of it today and get to this video today, you are welcome to still send me a video today or a picture today via Remind. I'd love to see how you are celebrating or mourning the death of Caesar. All right. Decius continues on. He says, "But when I tell him he hates flatterers, he says he does, being most flattered. Let me work, for I can give him humor, the true bed, and I will bring him to the capital." They're pointing up the hypocrisy here with Shakespeare, or with Caesar. He says, Decius is all like, "Caesar loves to be flattered, but says he hates flatterers, and so I'm going to flatter him, and it'll get him to the capital." All right, Decius is going to make sure Caesar gets murdered today. And Cassius says, "Nay, we will all of us be there to fetch him." And Cassius is implying that they're all going to be at the capital to, murder him. Really quickly, number 6, if you are looking for the answer for number 6, obviously we've covered it. Decius will make sure he gets to the capital. The next thing that we're going to do is Brutus says by the 8th hour, and they're like, okay, so they're going to make sure Caesar is at the capital by 8 o'clock. And then Cinna says, be the uttermost and fail not then. Metellus says, Caius Ligarius doth bear Caesar hard, who rated him for speaking well of Pompey. I wonder none of you thought of him. And so they're kind of saying, like, maybe we should have gotten some other dudes on our side. They didn't include Caius Ligarius, and maybe that was a bad choice. Brutus, now good Metellus, go along by him. He loves me well, and I have given him reason. Send him hither, and I'll fashion him. So now Brutus is on board with bringing Metellus. And then Caius says, the morning comes upon us. We'll leave you, Brutus, and friends, disperse yourselves, but all remember that what you have said and show yourselves to be true Romans. He's like, don't you dare back out. Don't. And Brutus says, good gentlemen, look fresh and merrily, not upon our looks, but on our purpose. Bear it as Roman actors do, with untired spirits and formal constancy. And so, good morrow to you, everyone. And then everybody leaves, but Brutus is left, okay? Once again, we've got him calling for a servant again. But boy, Lucius is fast asleep. Well, he doesn't call for him. He's like jealous of him. He says, it is no matter. Enjoy the honey heavy dew of slumber. Thou hast no figures nor fantasies. I almost just spilled my coffee. Which busy care draws the brains of men. Therefore, sleep is so sound. All right. And this is the first time we get to meet Portia. Now, Portia's an interesting soul. She will prove herself to be an interesting soul. And I'm curious what you guys will think of her. She's a little intense, though. All right, so Portia says, Brutus, my lord. She totally surprises him. He did not expect her to be awake. And he goes, Portia, what mean you? Therefore rise you now. It is not for your health thus to commit your weak condition to the raw, cold morning. He's like, what are you doing awake, dude? Well, ma'am. And Portia says, nor for yours either. So he's like, you shouldn't be awake. And she's like, you shouldn't be awake either. You've ungently, Brutus, stole from my bed, and yesterday at supper you suddenly arose and walked out, musing and sighing with your arms across, and when I asked you what the matter was, you stared at me with ungentle looks, and I urged you further, and then you scratched your head and too impatiently stomped your foot. Yet I insisted. Yet you answered not, but with an angry wafture of your hand gave sign for me to leave you, so I did, fearing to strengthen that impatience, which seemed to be too enkindled, and withal hoping that but effective humor, which sometime hath his hour with every man. It will not let you eat, nor talk, nor sleep, and it could work so much upon your shape, as it hath been prevailed upon your condition. I should not know you, Brutus, dear my lord. Make me acquainted with your grief. So she's calling him out. She's like, hey, I'm your wife, and you were not nice to me last night. I asked you what was up at dinner, and you, got mad at me, so I left you alone, and now you're not eating, and you're not sleeping. She's like, tell me what's wrong, right? She just wants to know what's going on with him. So like I said, Portia is Brutus's wife. So that's going to be our number 8 up here. And then number 9 is answered within this section here. And then Brutus lies. He says, I'm not well in health. That is all. So he says he's sick, which we know is not true. He's plotting to murder a friend. So I can't imagine that's his problem. Brutus is wise. Were he not in health, he would embrace the means to come by it. All right. Brutus... Why, so I do, good Portia, go to bed. He's like, okay, I'll get this taken care of. And then she's not going to let this go. She says, is Brutus sick? And is it physical to walk unembraced and suck up humors of the dank morning? What is Brutus sick? Will he steal out of his wholesome bed to dare the vile contagion of night, and to tempt the roomy and unpurged air to add to his sickness? No, my Brutus, you have some sick offense within your mind. She's like, you're not sick. There's something going on up here. I ought to know. She kneels up and upon my knees, so she's begging him. She begs him to tell her what's wrong. I charm you by my once commended beauty, by all your vows of love, and the great vow which did incorporate to make us one, that you unfold to me, yourself, your half, why you heavy, and what men tonight resort to you, and here have been 6 or 7 who hide their faces even from darkness. She's like, I beg you to tell me what's going on. She's like, there were dudes here tonight. There's 6 or 7 of them, and that seems really strange. She's like, you used to find me beautiful. Maybe my beauty can charm you now. She's like, just tell me what's going on. And then Brutus is like, get off your knees. He's like, kneel not, gentle Portia. And Portia says, I should not need, if we're gentle Brutus within the bond of marriage. Tell me, Brutus, it is expected that I should know no secrets that appertain to you. She's like, I'm your wife. If you can't tell me, then what's the problem? She's like, that isn't normal. But as it were, in short of limitation, to keep with her your meals, comfort your bed, and talk to you sometimes, dwell I but in the suburbs of your good pleasure. If it be no more, Portia is Brutus's harlot, not his wife. She says the way that he's treats her more like a prostitute than actually being his own wife. She's like, if all I am is to warm your bed and feed you, then I'm basically just a prostitute to you. Brutus says, you are my true and honorable wife, as dear to me as the ruddy drops that visit my sad heart. He's like, no, you've got it all wrong. I love you, I promise. And Portia's like, if that were true, then I should know the secret. I grant I am a woman, but withal a woman that Lord Brutus took to wife. A woman well reputed, Cato's daughter. Think you I am no stronger than my sex, being so fathered and so husbanded? Tell me your counsels, I will not disclose it. I have made a strong proof of my constancy, giving myself a voluntary wound upon here in the thigh. Can I bear with patience and not my husband's secrets? Okay, I love this section. One, because she's like, just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I can't handle this. And then two, Portia goes a little off the deep end here and straight up has like sliced her thigh open. She has given herself a voluntary wound. So she has like stabbed her own thigh to prove she can handle his problem. Okay. I feel like that is the exact opposite of how you might handle this, but at the end of the day, I'm not Portia, and I am not in Rome. All right, and then Brutus is like, oh gods, render me worthy of this noble wife. He's like, oh, I don't deserve you. And then he's like, hark, hark, one knocks. Portia, go in a while, and by thy bosom shall partake the secrets of my heart. All my engagements I will construe to thee, all the charactery of my sad brows. Leave in haste. He's like, go inside, I need to take care of this, but I promise I'll tell you what's going on with me. All right, so enter Lucius and Ligarius. Lucius, here is a sick man that you would speak with you. Brutus says, Caius Ligarius that Metellus spoke of, boy, stand aside. Lucius leaves. Caius Ligarius, how? Vouchsafe good morrow from a feeble tongue. And then Brutus is like, oh, what time you have chose out, brave Caius, to wear a kerchief. Would you were not sick. And then Ligarius is like, I'm not sick. If Brutus have a hand, any exploit worthy of thy honor. All right, so he's like, you, basically he's like, you're not sick. He's like, yeah, I know I'm not sick. I literally just told your servant that, so that he wouldn't suspect anything. Ligarius says, by all the gods that Romans bow before, I here discard my sickness. So he takes off his kerchief because he's protecting himself, because he's sick, but his real sickness is that Caesar would be king. Soul of Rome, brave son derived from honorable loins, thou, like an exorcist, has conjured up my mortified spirit. Now bid me run, and I will strive with these things impossible. Yea, get the better of them. What's to do? He's like, what do you want me to do? All right, I'm here. I'm ready. What do you want? A piece of work that will even make sick men whole. All right, so this once again proves to us how Brutus feels about all of this. He's not comfortable with the fact that they're going to kill Brutus or kill Caesar, but he understands it's for the good of Rome. He will do what he needs to do for the good of Rome. Ligarius, but are not some whole that we must make sick? And so he's referring to Caesar there, and Brutus says that we must also. What it is, my Caius, I shall unfold to thee as we are going to whom it must be done. Ligarius says, set down your foot, and with heart new fired I follow you, to do I know not what, but it sufficeth that Brutus leads me on. He's like, okay, let's do this. Let's go. Whatever you want to do, I'm in. Thunder again, which is an ominous sign, and then Brutus says, follow me then, and they leave. And that ends scene 1 of Act 2. All right, so you guys can definitely answer these questions here. Let me go back really quick. I got excited because she stabs herself in it. I think it's hilarious every time I cover it. Brutus says he will eventually tell her. That's going to be found, number 10 will be found here. Okay. Tomorrow we're going to come back together. We're going to read Act 2, Scene 2. And that's a weird section, as Calpurnia really tries to get Caesar to stay home. And Decius is all like, no, you should definitely go to the capital today. All right. So I look forward to hearing from all of you. We're going to do a live stream tomorrow, like I said. So let me know what time sounds good to you guys, and we'll kind of figure out one together. But have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.